Hey, there we go. Good to see everybody. All right, we'll hop right into it here. Got the 2010 boys age group. We're gonna kind of go over some infrastructure stuff that the club did this year and some improvements that we've been doing. Go over how the year went for the teams this year for the whole age group, and then also kind of look forward a little bit where what we think next year might look like. Um, and then I'll leave a little bit of time at the end for some parent questions and any thoughts or anything that you guys might want to share. There is a pretty, we'll be done right at 7. Zoom will kick us off, I think, at 7:01 or 2. And so we'll stop right there at 7. If we don't get to your question or you have anything else you'd like to share, please send me an email so I can get that and get it documented and get back to you as soon as we can with any answers. Or if it's just things you want to share for leadership, so I can get that to them and to myself, and make sure that gets shared with the OVF leadership. All right, so we'll hop right into infrastructure stuff. This year we changed our structure a little bit, added some age group coordinators, myself for the 11-side boys teams, Jason Hauer with the 9v9 teams, and Sam Tweeton with the girls teams, the 11-side girls teams. And these kind of coordinators, what we call them, we're just there to help support the coaches. And a lot of clubs, a lot of coaches will get their teams at tryouts, and then they show up at trainings and they just are kind of on their own little islands, and they don't get a lot of support, or they don't get a lot of interaction with other coaches, other teams, or the leadership themselves. And so this was our attempt to try and provide that for the coaching staff and try and give them a little bit more support and a little bit more help throughout the year. And it worked pretty good this year. There was, being involved with the boys teams and overseeing all that, helping logistically just get their rosters set up with OYSA, making sure everything's going smoothly. There's, players cards that aren't going through or things, and trying to take care of all those problems for the coaches so they didn't have to worry about that. Getting them signed up for the tournaments on time, getting all that kind of logistic stuff for them to help support them that way. But then also the main big main part was just support on the field and helping them with either just being there at practice to help kind of as an assistant, or just being there to talk about game models, or integration of sort of the OVF way of coaching that we're trying to get across to all the coaches as a whole, or as a coaching staff. Like I said, coaches can kind of get on their islands and they're doing what's comfortable for them, what they've done for years, and having more eyes on their teams, more eyes on them, just being there to help support. It was a great way to kind of push coaches to new heights and to keep them on toes a little bit, but also just be there to help them out, and just kind of raise the level a little bit. And we definitely saw that throughout the year. Just the quality of the results and goal scoring differential. I'll point out last year, I think we had something as a club wide whole, like a minus 100 goal differential just from all of our teams throughout the club. And this year we flipped that on its head and we're at plus over 100. I haven't done the final tally yet, because we have a lot of teams still finishing up their leagues for spring league. But we're up there in the over 100 goal differential. So it's been a great turnaround this year, and just the on the field stuff has been really good, and really good to see the improvements there from the club as a whole. And that part of it is this age group here had a big piece of that as well, and we'll get to that in a second. Couple other infrastructure things. Bryce, our director of operations, did a ton of work on our website, adding our yearly calendar, getting that on there early so parents can look ahead, see when are we taking a break 6 months from now? When does winter league start? When does spring league start? All that stuff's on the yearly calendar, so it's a little bit easier access for parents to see, and we've got it out there, and they can start planning early. Speaking of that, our website has gone through a lot of changes and a lot of improvements. A lot of that's been Bryce as well, working on that stuff, just streamlining it and adding more documents and forms to the website to make it a little bit easier, a little bit more user friendly for parents to find all that information, any documents they might need for registration, scholarships, any of that kind of stuff. And there's been some really great improvements there. The parent resource tab on our website is just fantastic now. So it's kind of 70% of the questions I get from coaches or parents. A lot of that information is on that resources tab. So if you're not familiar with it, I'd suggest checking it out, because it does have a ton of good information on it, and it's a good thing to know, especially if you ever get a question. That would be my first place to go if I have a question and trying to figure anything out, because there's a lot of good stuff there. We are switching to Adidas for uniforms and equipment, and that should improve our uniform ordering experience. Adidas has a good reputation for that, and so I'm excited to start that partnership with them. We've already got some gear ordered, some balls coming, and coaches gear and things. So I'm excited to start that relationship with them, and I think that should be a good one here moving forward. For next year, we're sticking with a similar structure, but kind of rebranding a little bit. The age group coordinator name was something we came up with, but not really common language throughout clubs in the US or in Oregon. And so we'll have myself still overseeing the 11v11 boys side, but I think we'll call myself the boys technical director. And then we're hiring Victor Martinez to run the girls side as a technical director, as well as the younger 99 teams. Then we have Blake Leamy still as our director of coaching, kind of overseeing it all and keeping us going in the right direction, making sure we're all on the same page between the boys and the girls programs. And then Bryce Burton, our director of operations, still running a lot of the questions for parents about website stuff or Stack Team app or any sort of stuff like that. He's just been awesome and been a rock star doing that job for us, and has really helped us out within the club. Some improvements I kind of mentioned are our goal differential already within the club just as a whole. And so just seeing that has been great this year, just how much on the field stuff has improved. There's always going to be hiccups and things that we're working on to get better at, just administration wise or business wise, but the on the field stuff has been really, really good to see. And as that kind of boys director, getting to come out to all the different trainings and see it throughout the year has been really special and really great to see, at least from my personal perspective. If you guys have any questions, feel free to speak up, but I'm gonna keep moving here and kind of go over our seasons this year. So for the 2010 Navy team, in the spring, we were Premier Silver. We got second. 5-2-1, 17 goals for, 10 against. So it's a good +7 goal differential. 5-2-1, just looked pretty good and just played really good all season long. In the fall, with this sort of difference of an age group. You know, we've got as these sort of 8th graders going into high school, they're always a little bit different, but we were Premier Silver as well and finished 7-4-1. But when I was looking at it, I saw the last 8 games of the season finish 7-1. So really finished on a strong note. And it's been really good to see. Let's see, 30 goals for, 26 against in that fall season. For the white team in the spring, we had the U13-14 Central Division 1. They kind of are still just getting started. They're 1-1-1, but 6 goals for, 8 against. And then in the fall with the U14 Central Division, finished 4-6, 12 goals for, 33 against. You know, not the best goal differential, but compared to what they did in the previous year, it was great to see them win those 4 games and really improve this year. I think Jonathan's done a great job with that white team, and so that's been a lot of great work. I was out there with him a lot in the fall, and so seeing that improvement was really good. So just kind of overall, really happy with the progress of these groups. You know, like I said, the white team winning these games this year, Navy team competing really well with some of the top teams here. Both groups probably staying in the same division. I think the 2010 Navies could make an argument for moving up to Premier Gold if we really wanted to. You know, the fall season doesn't support that as well, but like I said, kind of really finishing strong on that strong note and then doing really good in the spring. It's an option we can explore. You know, OYSA may think differently, but we can always make that argument to them if that's what we're looking to do. And you know, also depending on how well they perform in State Cup this year will kind of give us that ammunition if we're looking to do that to kind of give OYSA some data. The one special thing I'd like to talk about with this group is that the 7th graders that we do have, you know, this year of players going into high school, but not everybody, because of the birth year versus school year thing. You know, we don't have a ton of 7th graders. I'm not sure exactly how many we have on the white team. I know we only have a few on the Navy team, besides a couple that were kind of playing up, but there'll most likely be a situation where we can form a fall team for those 2010 7th graders, is what we've done in the past, and have that fall U15 team. And then after high school season's over, we can kind of combine back up and do tryouts again in November and get them going again. What we've done is usually had some of the freshmen 2010s just play on the weekends to make sure we have enough for games. You know, it all depends on how many we get to come out here and the tryouts in May. But we always want to try and support those players that have been in the club and just kind of fall under that sort of unlucky age group split where they don't have a fall season to play because most of their team is going into high school and they're playing with their high school teams. But we've always tried to find a way to make that happen, whether it's having some 2011s play up with them, or like I said, play with we can train with some of the 2011s and then have some of the freshmen 2010s play over the weekends with them during the fall. And so we definitely want to try and support that, and we'll make sure we have something for them. If not, you know, there's other options we can look at to try and help you guys either join a different team or I know there was an OVF North team this last fall And we've used some of them as well, or we can go up there and kind of try and combine, because a lot of clubs they go through the same thing. Everybody has this, and it just kind of depends on how many seventh graders you have in your group, and it changes from year to year. But we definitely want to try and support those kids that have been in the club. So that's kind of my thoughts for next year and what we're thinking about. If anybody has any questions, I'd like to open that up, or any just thoughts you want to share. We've got about 12 minutes left. And then, like I said, if we don't get to you guys, please feel free to email me so I can get that documented and I can get some answers to you. One other thing I'd share, since no one spoke up, was the coaching slate for next year. We're doing all these age group meetings and trying to get as much feedback and as much data as possible from all the parents before we announce any sort of coaching assignments. We have our kind of rough draft with our slate, but we want to make sure there's no surprises. Maybe there's, some unhappy groups or anything like that. We want to make sure we get as much data and as much feedback as possible from the parents before we start kind of setting anything in stone about coaches for next year. We'll also, we'll send out, like we do every year, a feedback, sort of year feedback thing to all the membership. So that'll be another sort of way for you to provide a written response to anything you might want to share, any thoughts or anything like that. But is there anything you guys might want to ask now? Please feel free.
Hi, this is Heidi. I have my hand up, but I'm not sure you can see it. Sorry.
Oh, there it goes. Yeah. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
so I am new to soccer in the last couple years, and the age group and grades always confuse me. So forgive me for asking such a silly question, but I kind of need help. Like, if I don't know, like, Peyton is a seventh grader, and if he gets chosen for a different team this next year, I get confused with that tryout in November. So are you the person, if I still get confused by November, to ask if he should be trying out? Because I don't want to be the silly mom that doesn't understand and not allow my kid to try out for something he wants to. So would you be the right person to ask that to?
That would be a great one if you are. I can kind of clear it up, I think, a little bit now. We'll have our tryouts for the 2010 age group in May, and he'll come to that, try out, and we'll form those teams, and they'll play through June, I think, and then we'll head to Clash at the Border tournament, do our summer tournament. That was one thing I kind of neglected to mention here, was our tournaments. But all the high school teams will be doing Clash at the Border in June, and then we'll kind of release them to their high school teams, because most high schools are starting their summer training in July or even June. And so we'll kind of release them from club there. They'll do their high school seasons, and then we'll start again, and we'll do that. We call the November one more of like a supplemental tryout, where we get the groups back together again. Now, say your player makes our Navy team, right? Or for the 2010s, but we won't have a fall Navy team because most of those kids are going into high school. But we will try and have a 2010 team that will play in the U15 league. And it may not be the same team, the Navy team, like I said, because all those players are playing in high school. But we're just trying to provide a place to play for those seventh graders that don't have a team anymore because most of their team went to high school, if that makes sense. So it is with that group, with your player being that seventh grader, it is more of a playing on two separate teams type of a situation, just because of the way it falls, and most of their actual teammates are going to be playing in high school. But
Gotcha, because he'll be in the 8th grade next year. So that makes sense. Okay. Thank you.
but
I
then
just
one,
don't want to miss out on an opportunity because I just don't understand stuff.
yep. So yeah, if you do have questions, definitely email me and I can set you straight. So another, I'll say, since it's been a little quiet, the tournament stuff, uh, we're planning on going to Clash of the Border for the high schoolers, for these 2010s as well. And since we'll kind of consider them high schoolers now after May, just because that's what the year they're going into. But we also, and that's just up in Portland, and Vancouver. But for those teams, especially the Navy teams that are maybe looking for a little bit more challenge, they've showed, they can handle the higher level of competition. We're looking at offering the chance to go to Crossfire, which is up in Seattle. And that's in mid-July, and that could be either it would most likely be instead of Clash of the Border, like say, Clash of the Border is great, but it is a smaller kind of local tournament. And if we're looking for a higher level competition, this Crossfire up in Seattle is great. It has, a lot of over 600 teams and from all around the country, a lot of regional stuff, but it's a really huge tournament. So it's a really great one to go to. And then now with this group kind of moving into high school, with the winter, we do the Alliance Showcase, which is up in Portland. These are for the Navy teams. We go to some more college showcases. And Alliance Showcase is up in Portland. That's in the first week of December. And we go to that. We did that this year as well. And it was a good tournament. And then we either have Pac Northwest, which is up in Seattle, which we've done the past few years. And we've also been looking at offering the Mayor's Cup, which is in Las Vegas in February. And that's a fantastic tournament. It has, teams from all over the country come in, and also, college coaches that travel to that, to go to Vegas for a recruiting trip, but it's a great tournament. It's a huge one, and would be a great experience. So if we have any of those sort of Navy teams looking for those higher level competition things, we're looking to help that and offer that go.
So question about the U15 leagues. They actually go a little bit earlier, right? They start usually at the beginning of January rather than more close to the end of January. We've had it for the last couple of years.
Yeah, so the high school leagues do start in January. The Premier League, usually if you're in Premier, they start second, third week, probably third week of January. Some of the non-Premier leagues usually will maybe start a week or two later. But yeah, the high school season is actually called winter season. There is
rather
fall,
spring, right? Yeah.
because it goes from January to March, and then all the cups, like President's Cup, State Cup, Founders Cup, whichever cup you're playing in, all the high school teams do that in April. And so it's a little different from the pre-high school, they do their Presidents and Founders Cups in the fall. But all state cups are always in April. But once you get into high school, the Presidents and Founders Cups are also in April as well. So they start their leagues a little bit sooner. All right, we've got about 2 minutes left. If anybody has anything else. All right, well, I will call that there then. I want to thank you guys for jumping on and participating. It does really help us out, get a bunch of feedback. Once again, if you guys, aren't comfortable sharing in the public setting, if you need or want to share anything, please feel free to give me an email, and I can add that to all the documents and get that squared away for me and help you out as best I can. So yeah, thank you guys very much, and we'll see you guys out on the field.